Okay, I'm back for my second video already. I'm just trying to get adjusted to all the technology and the logistics. Not much of a techie. But one thing I want to share a lot of things on this channel, but one of the things that comes to mind, and this has been prompted by a lot of videos I've seen by Ali Matthews and Annabelle Lee, Running from Chaos, um, Shrinking Violet, who all just do an incredibly fantastic job with getting their points across. What I want to share is, and basically, let me set the background. Um, when you're abused, you're beaten down. Whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, whatever, you're beaten down, and it's hard to keep going. And you know, this problem that we all share, it's something that we're going to get through. We are going to get through. We are going to see light at the end of the tunnel. But what I want to read, it's a quote by former President Theodore Roosevelt, and it's called "The Man in the Arena." And some of you have heard it, and maybe some of you haven't. I can relate to it. Now, this is a quote made while President Roosevelt was in office, and it was delivered at the Sorbonne in Paris on April 1910. The man in the arena. It's not the critic. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually, or woman, who is in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who the great devotions, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself or herself in a worthy cause, who at the worst, if he or she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his or her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And, my feeling about what we're going through, it's a Cold War. There are a lot, especially when you're talking about a lot of covert narcs, covert cluster Bs. This is a Cold War, and, these manipulative people are always thinking several steps ahead. And I can't speak for the rest of the community, but I know for me, it was very okay. Sorry, the battery. It's very grueling and tiring, having to contend with a narcissist, and obviously that's one of the reasons why it's recommended that we go no contact. It's such a shift and a change of consciousness and one's construct and outlook when we go no contact and we look out for ourselves. I grew up in a narcissistic family, the scapegoat, if you will, and really got hammered a lot. Not literally, but I mean just a lot of abuse. And, the things that should have been impressed upon me, like character and integrity and, doing the right thing and not judging people, that's what matters. That's what counts. This speech by President Roosevelt, I can relate to it a lot. I struggled in many aspects of my life. And I definitely feel like my face is marred by dust. Um, but I just think that, um, all the others in this community who are sharing videos and, posting videos and sharing their experiences, it's just remarkable. I mean, you always hear, you're not the only one, but until you hear it, it's hard to really feel that way. And it's comforting to know that people can understand what you're going through. And I'll echo what others have said before me and will continue to say, that trying to explain this to someone, their eyes glaze over. They just glaze over. And I try to explain it to them like I'm talking to a 5-year-old, but they just don't get it. Even very smart people, it's been discussed, even trained professional psychologists, psychiatrists do not have a strong command, knowledge, and expertise in the area of these personality disorders. And I believe that these disorders are at the root of destructive and abusive relationships, both personal and business. And, when people in positions of power are corrupt and people feel the wrath of their cluster B personality, it does a lot of harm. The people we've been in relationships with do harm to us, and when people in positions of power do harm, it's on a much larger scale. And that's dangerous. That's a very dangerous thing. I don't know how we're going to get through that. But what I can tell you is never in my entire life did I ever feel I would need to be as selective with who I interacted with. And it's still always a risk. And I know that life is full of risks. It's still always a risk. You want to have your guard up and not be too vulnerable and, just be careful. But at the same time, there certainly is a part of a lot of us, all of us, in fact, who are kind, loving, caring, nurturing people. And, for me, that's how I express myself. I guess that's part of my art, loving and nurturing and being kind. And when you're raked over the coals by these narcs, it's hard not to change a little bit. I'd say I'm more cautious and I pay attention to the red flags. And, so I just wanted to continue the intro of my channel, by talking a little bit about that speech and about, daring greatly, putting yourself out there, exposing these narcs, sharing what people have gone through. Randy Andretti said it very well the other night when she said, why not, forewarn these people? Why do, about narcissistic abuse? Why do we have this attitude, this, Greek rush, sorority fraternity rush, or medical residency, this attitude where, well, I went through it, so you should go through it. No, that's not right. We want to improve as a race, as a people. And part of that is sharing our experience with younger people and to talk to them about it and say, hey, look, here's some of the things in life that you need to be on the lookout for. And one of them, is a group of people that are only interested in you superficially and what you can provide to them. And that's devastating if you are in any type of relationship for authentic reasons, intrinsic reasons, and then, the mask comes off and you're just blown away. For me, I was like, I thought I was on Punk'd. I'm like, where's Ashton Kutcher? It's impossible, as difficult as this is and painful as this is. there is some humor in it. There's no question. There's some humor in it because some of the things that happen are just so screwed up. It's I guess that's why they say art imitates life. But I like the fact, and I know I'm kind of all over the place. Just bear with me. But I like the fact that we are sharing information with each other because that's what's going to be key, and supporting each other, and sharing the pain that goes with going no contact. I am no contact. Sorry, sorry about that. I am no contact with my entire family, and it's sad. It's very, very sad. And there are times where I want to try to reconcile with them, but they just you know it's just been all the folks on here are just so eloquent and articulate when they talk about the challenges that we face. Where you're abused and then they act like nothing happened, and that's how my family is. And the fact that they're so oblivious, that's scary. I mean, we have issues. The key is not that we have issues, is are we aware of them and doing something about them? And these people don't. These narcs don't. So anyway, I'm going to stop here. And again, welcome to my channel. I'm Romulus, and I want to thank you for listening. And if you want to post some comments in the box below, feel free to do so. And thanks so much. Talk to you soon.